my heart used to race at 3 a.m. in the morning. And people say, heart के लिए wine अच्छी है. It's all bullshit.
For all the men जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं और फेल हो रहे हैं, वो कैसे अल्कोहल छोड़ सकते हैं?
So I came up with some hacks. I used to bite on garlic, raw garlic, multiplies it later.
So welcome Abhishek, a very warm welcome and thank you so much for taking out time. And today we are gonna discuss the stories of transformation, resilience and hope.
Thank you, Reena, for inviting me to your podcast. And I'm glad that you have me here.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
Abhishek.
really interested to share my stories with you.
Okay, Abhishek, I'm very keen to know like what transformation you have gone through. I want to know a little story behind it, where you were and where are you now?
Yeah, so like my alcohol journey, it all started when I got my first job. It was all a weekend thing, when वो नई job लगती है, पैसे आते हैं, that all stuff. So weekends where we used to party a lot. And at that time it was fine. There was no stress, family se dur ho. It all started with fun.
Okay.
But later, a few years down the line, I started drinking to numb the stress. And वो addiction कब बन जाती है आपको पता ही नहीं चलता. So that's how it got started. Uh, I started my job in Pune. Then I went to Chennai. It was all fine then. But when I got transferred here in Delhi, I started meeting my friends. So वो weekend से weekdays में भी बदल गया. In Delhi, you must be knowing about that karobar culture. People just sit in their cars with all the setup done, drinking and everything. So yeah, I became a part of that culture, and from there it started. And वो addiction कब बन गई पता ही नहीं चला.
So, how old were you when you started off with alcohol, and what pushed you for that craving to taste it?
I was 21. I first tasted in my college days, uh, the graduation day basically, where everyone was forcing me just have one drink, one drink. So I had vodka for the first time, and then it got me high. I also, puked the very first time when I drank. So they kind of, pushed me into drinking. So I didn't feel good at that time, but later when I got my first job, as a part of celebration, all our roomies decided just, we all have got the job, let's drink. From then, I started with 2 drinks, 3 drinks, and then, I wasn't a heavy drinker, first of all. I always used to drink moderately, not more than 3, 4 drinks, when I started. So yeah, so this is how, that the push started. First the friends forced me, and then this, as I started taking it as a part of every celebration. Job लगी या कुछ भी कहीं घूमने जाना है, trips पे जाना है, it became a ritual. So I started creating my drinking rituals.
ओके अभिषेक, एक बात मुझे जाननी है कि जरूर ये क्या होता है अल्कोहल? लाइक पीयर प्रेशर होता है, ये सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में होता है जब आप बड़े हो रहे होते हैं, आप किसी को देखते हैं, योर अंकल्स और योर डैड, और ये पीयर प्रेशर में रहता है, और यू आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू फिट इन द सोसाइटी?
Yeah, so I think I would call it a belief system. There are very false beliefs around alcohol. False belief जैसे कि पंजाबियों में तो चलता है यार, it's a cultural thing. It's a false belief. I mean, ये सब सोसाइटी ने बनाया है. चलता है का क्या मतलब है? You can't drink carcinogen, अपने कल्चर में चलता है तो
नहीं पीते हो
ऐसे
तो
बहुत false beliefs हैं.
डीमीन करते हैं
या
कि
आप
ये क्या, तू नहीं पिएगा, तू नींबू पानी पीता है क्या, ऐसे
ट्रू.
आते कमेंट्स?
या पहले आते थे मतलब जब मैं नहीं पीता था. सो बट पीपल स्टार्ट सेइंग कि यार लिटिल लिटिल ले ले, कुछ नहीं होता, एक ड्रिंक से क्या होगा. दैट्स द लाइन दैट आई ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू हियर. सो ये फॉल्स बिलीफ्स हैं. ठीक है. अब या तो ये बिलीफ्स बनते कैसे हैं, इट्स अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग. एक तो कल्चर से आते हैं, सोसाइटी हमें देती है, फिल्में बनाती हैं, द मूवीज, द मूवी कल्चर, कि यार मूवी में ट्रिप पे जा रहे हो, गोवा जा रहे हो, ड्रिंक ले लो. तो यहाँ से वो बिलीफ सिस्टम बनना स्टार्ट होता है. और फिर द नेक्स्ट थिंग दैट हैपेंस इज यू क्रिएट रिचुअल्स. नाउ व्हाट आर रिचुअल्स? आई विल टेल यू. जब भी आप किसी सिचुएशन पे आप अल्कोहल एसोसिएट कर देते हो, दैट बिकम्स अ रिचुअल. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, बारिश आ रही है,
ओके।
तो बारिश में मूड बन गया यार, ड्रिंक
मूड।
ली, यू एसोसिएटेड रेनी सीजन विद अल्कोहल, इट बिकम्स अ रिचुअल. यू गोइंग ऑन अ ट्रिप, गाड़ी है, पीछे बियर रखनी है गाड़ी में यार, लॉन्ग ड्राइव करते हुए एक एक बियर लेते हुए जाना है. सो यू एसोसिएटेड ट्रिप विद अल्कोहल, इट्स अ रिचुअल. तो ये बिलीफ सिस्टम है, रिचुअल्स हैं, और फिर ये आपके सबकॉन्शियस में कहीं ना कहीं बैठ जाते हैं. एंड दैट इज हाउ यू, फ्राइडे वाला रिचुअल, क्या वीकेंड है, वीकेंड पे तो बनती है.
ओके.
सो या.
सर अभिषेक, ये लोनलीनेस था, पीयर प्रेशर था, सबकॉन्शियस माइंड था, और फिटिंग था, विच ऑफ द फोर थिंग्स यू थिंक पुश्ड यू टू गो फॉर दिस क्रेविंग और टू गो फॉर इट? क्या था वो आपके लिए? व्हाट वाज योर वन?
First, it was peer pressure only,
ओके.
because I started it for fun. But loneliness and stress came in later when it became an addiction. Because alcohol does a lot to your brain. It numbs your prefrontal cortex, and over the time, it also spikes cortisol, which is your stress hormone. तो वो ना आपको पता नहीं चलता है, वो धीरे धीरे अगर आप उसको वीकेंड पे भी ले रहे हो, इट स्पाइक्स कॉर्टिसोल, और वो कभी कम होता ही नहीं है पूरी लाइफ में जब तक यू डोंट क्विट. सो इनिशियली इट वाज फन पार्ट, but later, yeah, I started drinking when I felt lonely, when I was in stress. Yeah.
So Abhishek, since you have been talking about so many different hormones, I'm sure कि आपने बहुत इसके पीछे research करी, क्योंकि after becoming an alcoholic and then try, choosing your sober journey, tell me what was that one trigger that happened and then you thought कि नहीं, अब नहीं मुझसे होगा, I have to be sober.
Yeah. So 2 years back, I hit rock bottom. Rock bottom in the sense I was contracted with typhoid.
Okay.
And you won't believe I couldn't recover for 3 months. For 2 months straight, I had 99 fever. It was not going down. Everybody around me was pareshan. And even I gave up at one point in time. कि भाई नहीं हो रहा है. So, but the saddest part is that even after having typhoid, after recovery, I started drinking again. As in the form of binge drinking, revenge drinking, basically. कि यार अब तो लूंगा. फिर उसके बाद मैंने थोड़ी और ज्यादा पी.
तो 90 days
But
नहीं
then,
किया, उसके बाद रिवेंज ड्रिंकिंग किया आपने?
true. और फिर वो रियलाइज हुआ कि माय गट एंड एवरीथिंग, माय बॉडी ने झेलना बंद कर दिया. यू नो, earlier hangover used to be only for 1 or 2 days, but now it lingered for more than 3 days.
Okay.
My body, it stopped behaving the way it used to earlier. So that is where I realized that I'm ruining my health. I have a kid at my home. I have my wife. I have responsibilities. So maybe that rock bottom hit for me, but I know that for most of the people that rock bottom thing does not work at all, but it kind of worked for me.
So Abhishek, how many times you failed? How many times you failed to revive? How many times you failed to get sober? कि नहीं करूँगा, it becomes a habit. And they say कि it takes 21 days straight to come out of any habit or to build a habit. But आपने 90 days नहीं पिया, फिर revenge drinking की, फिर उसके बाद दोबारा आप, you've been sick, फिर आपने ड्रिंक किया. तो how many times you failed actually?
I really lost the count. 7 times so I failed. Like I literally, but उसके बाद भी socially आपको जाना पड़ता है, वहां ड्रिंक लेनी पड़ती है. तो lot of times I failed यार. मतलब 2 weeks का गैप दिया, 3 weeks तक का गैप दिया, but that's the max that I could do.
तो जब
So,
आपने गैप
I mean,
देते,
relapsing is a very common thing. It's not like that, कि ये नहीं होगा. जब आपको थॉट ट्रिगर होता है क्विट करने का, you always relapse. Unless you are Javed Akhtar. I saw this interview of Javed Akhtar where he said, I just stopped drinking one day and, I'm not, उसके बाद मैंने हाथ नहीं लगाया. You're not, everyone is not Javed Akhtar. You are a human at the end of the day and you obviously relapse.
So Abhishek, tell me कि जब relapse होता है, is there any of guilt also कि यार मैंने इतना मेहनत किया, 2 हफ्ता नहीं पिया, 3 हफ्ता नहीं पिया, and now I'm drinking again? Guilt है, होता है आपको?
Yes. That guilt is something that's very, अंदर से वो खत्म कर देता है आपको. It's very heartbreaking कि आप इतनी मेहनत कर रहे हो, you're working so hard, because आप उस टाइम तक अपने ड्रिंकिंग पैटर्न्स एनालाइज कर चुके होती हो कि this is how I drink, this is when I drink, but that craving, is something that you're not able to stop. And there is a reason behind it. I'll come to that later, that why it happens, that why you crave. um, yeah, so that guilt is at its peak when you relapse.
तो बहुत बार अभिषेक आपने सुना होगा, वेरी कॉमन ऑन सोशल मीडिया, मॉम गिल्ट, शी हैज मॉम, एवरी मॉम हैज अ मॉम गिल्ट, बट आई हैव नेवर हर्ड अबाउट फादर्स गिल्ट। एज अ फादर जब आप ड्रिंक करते हो, फिर उसे छोड़ने की कोशिश करते हो, फिर फेल होते हो, तो एज अ फादर व्हाट वाज योर फादर गिल्ट लुकिंग एट योर सन?
Yeah, that's a very great question, Reena. So, when I used to drink, my child kind of sensed that change in energy. दो ड्रिंक के बाद ना आपकी एनर्जी में शिफ्ट आता है,
या
और वो बच्चे सुन के नहीं, वो फील करते हैं. क्योंकि whenever there was a celebration at my house, I used to take drink and then dance. And sometimes, my child used to say कि पापा यार, आपको अचानक से क्या हो गया? So they know that, this, that my dad is taking something that's making him dance, that making him enjoy. ठीक है?
डोपामिन हिट,
And
या
yeah. So that was the celebration part. But then I sometimes used to get cranky. Let's just say I was stressed. I didn't never used to drink in front of him. But whenever I did, like I was kind of always, my relationship with my son was not that bad at all, first of all. So, but sometimes let's just say stress when मैंने drink ले लिया. So I used to kind of say, हाँ ठीक है. I used to kind of ignore him. I wasn't fully present. I was half present. And I didn't realize it at the time when I was drinking. I realized it later when I quit. So that kind of you know rift is create, it's वो धीरे धीरे होना स्टार्ट हो जाता है और आपको रियलाइज भी नहीं होता. एंड समटाइम्स लेट्स जस्ट से आपकी ड्रिंक ज्यादा हो गई, 3 से 4 हो गई, और रात में योर चाइल्ड गॉट अप, ही स्टार्टेड क्राइंग, उसको कुछ फीवर है, बुखार है, यू नो my wife used to take care of him because I wasn't in condition that I could get up and actually uh, उसका मैं ध्यान रख सकूं. So
क्या
this
एहसास होता
guilt
है कि ये,
triggered later on.
बट उस समय क्या एहसास होता है अभिषेक कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ फादर आई एम, मैं मतलब आप कॉन्शियस में हो?
Yeah,
दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू नो, कि आपको
yeah,
कॉन्शियसली
वो
लगता है?
नेक्स्ट डे वो गिल्ट आता है. उस टाइम तो नहीं जब आपने ले रखी होती है, बट नेक्स्ट डे वो आप सोचते हो कि यार कल मैंने क्या किया, नहीं किया होता.
राइट. And
Yeah.
Abhishek, you mentioned about that your son is catching, or son was, you mentioned like your son was catching your energy when you were drunk most of the times. And it is true psychologically because बच्चे जो हैं वो एनर्जी कैच करते हैं फ्रॉम द एज ऑफ 0 डे. ओके. तो इसका क्या होता है कि जब वो आपको देखता था कि सेलिब्रेशन है एंड यू आर हैविंग अ ड्रिंक एंड देन यू आर हैप्पी, डिड ही रिलेट celebration, happiness, and dopamine with drinking? Do you think he related it with substance intake, कि अभी ये लेंगे तो ही हम खुश हो सकते हैं? Has he raised some questions around it ever?
एक क्वेश्चन तो यही था कि पापा आपको अचानक से क्या हो गया, या आपने क्या लिया ऐसा. जैसे वो बॉटल को देख के, एक बियर का जो पॉइंट होता है उसको देख के बोला गया व्हाट इज दिस, आई यूज्ड टू सेइंग दैट इट्स अ बैड जूस, किड्स आर नॉट सपोज्ड टू
जनरली
टेक दिस.
बोलते हैं, yeah.
हाँ, और उसने मुझे कई बार स्पेसिफिकली कॉल आउट भी किया कि पापा आपको अचानक से क्या हो गया. सो दैट हिट मी एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम. बट वो ये छोटी मोटी चीजें आप इग्नोर करते हो जब आप अल्कोहल ले रहे होते हो ना. आप कहते ठीक है यार, एक ही बार बोला है, बट बच्चा है, आप बहुत इग्नोर करते हो. बट it's not something that we should ignore it. That's a red flag. It becomes a problem later on.
क्योंकि बच्चा आपको देख रहा है कि पापा बोल रहे हैं बैड जूस है और कंटिन्यूअसली ले भी रहे हैं, यू नो.
Yeah.
इट्स अ क्यूरियोसिटी दैट यू आर क्रिएटिंग इन चाइल्ड एंड दैट्स फॉर ऑल द पेरेंट्स आर वाचिंग इट, कि जब आप बच्चे के साथ बैठ के ड्रिंक करते हो, पार्टीज करते हो घर पे, और लोगों को
Mm,
ड्रिंक्स पिला रहे हो और फिर कह रहे हो कि ये बैड जूस है, ये मेडिसिन है, ये बच्चों के लिए अच्छा नहीं है, ट्रस्ट मी,
mm,
यू आर मल्टीप्लाइंग द क्यूरियोसिटी बाय 100%. उससे क्या होगा, बच्चा कभी ना कभी जैसे भी कोशिश कर पाएगा, जरूर टेस्ट करेगा. एंड अभिषेक, इन माय रीसेंट क्लाइंट मीटिंग, आई मेट अ कपल जिनके 10 साल के बच्चे ने विस्की टेस्ट किया. आज
my
बहुत
God.
बहुत ट्रेंड है ना आजकल घर में बार्स रखने.
Mm,
कोई भी आर्किटेक्ट आता है तो मंदिर और स्पिरिचुअल प्लेसेस की बाद में बात होती है, बार कैसा होगा ये बहुत ज्यादा डिस्कशन होता है. सो डू यू ऑल्सो
yeah.
हैव अ बार एट योर प्लेस, और यूज टू हैव?
No, no. No, no. I started. I wanted to have a bar, but I never got a bar.
Amazing. So
But you're
some
right. Like this
parties.
is, yeah. No, we kind of set an example that this is a grown-up thing. कि ये बड़े लोग करते हैं, और I think that becomes a reason why, because alcoholism runs in families. Though it wasn't the case with me, I've seen. There's an example that a relative of mine who used to drink, he
Yeah.
has two kids, and
Yeah.
both of them drink now, just because their father used to drink.
Okay. Okay.
So this alcoholism thing runs in family,
Yeah.
and because this is because of the example that we set up for them.
So that reminds me of a very short story, Abhishek. So दो बच्चे हैं जिनके फादर बहुत ड्रिंक करते हैं। तो एक बच्चा है जो बहुत अल्कोहलिक बन जाता है, और एक बच्चा है जो बहुत सोबर और इंटेलिजेंट बनता है। सो जब उन दोनों से क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि आप इतना ड्रिंक क्यों करते हो, तो ही सेड आई सॉ माय फादर। और जो इंटेलिजेंट और सोबर से पूछा गया कि आप इतना ड्रिंक क्यों करते हो, ही सेड आई सॉ माय फादर टू। Yeah. So it's like
Yeah,
kind of environment that you're creating for your children. Then you can't blame him or her when they grow up कि आप right direction में क्यों नहीं हो, आप इतना drink क्यों करते हो, because you are preaching them certain things without teaching them. Okay.
true.
Yeah. So that's,
And as they say, you should practice what you preach.
yeah.
वो नहीं होगा तो फिर चीजें खराब होंगी. Yeah, you're
So
so right.
very important question to you, Abhishek. कि after becoming sober, what are the three things that you see as a shift between you and your child?
Basically, I was fully present. वो जो I used to be very snappy when I used to drink. I stopped being snappy. I was always there for him, कि कोई भी ऐसा मोमेंट नहीं है, नहीं ऑब्वियसली आप एंग्री होते हो, गुस्सा होते हो, वो पेरेंट,
Yeah.
दैट्स अ पेरेंट थिंग, बट वो जो स्नैप करना, दैट ऑल वाज गॉन.
Yeah.
And my relationship was not very bad with my son, as I said. So it's just that I was more, as a father, I started playing with him more. There's an interesting story. So whenever I used to drink on Friday or Saturday night, the next day my kid used to say me, "Papa, chalo park chalte hain." And then I used to say no to him. No, I'm not feeling good. I'm not at my best right now. I can't go with you. So
Hmm.
this is what improved.
So you have become more
कि मैं उसके साथ
present with.
जाने लगी.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's the very thing. Otherwise, like everything was okay because he was born in 2020, and वो COVID में I already spent a lot of time with him. So my relationship was not that bad. So he understood me. But yeah, being more present and involved with him, that you know increased after I quit.
So one is consciously you have become present, but
True.
subconsciously क्या shift हुआ, Abhishek, with your child that you see as an observation, that you're not discussing with
Mm.
him, but you see as an observation कि ये मेरे बच्चे में change आया है because I'm not drinking.
It's the connect. He started connecting with me more.
And he
Because on Saturday nights when I was like drunk या कुछ ऐसा weirdly behave कर रहा होता, celebrate कर रहा होता, now I watch a movie with him sometimes. So he knows that my dad is now started yes, has started connecting with me more.
ओके। एंड डू यू
Yeah.
थिंक, अभिषेक, बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर रहता है फियर फैक्टर। जब बच्चे आपकी एनर्जी सेंस कर लेते हैं तो आपके पास नहीं आते हैं। तो डू यू
Mm.
थिंक दैट फियर फैक्टर यू हैव रियलाइज्ड एंड योर चाइल्ड हैज, you have become more approachable to him? Do you think so?
Yes, definitely that has happened. Because I said that snappy thing, right? I used to be very snappy. कि हाँ हाँ ठीक है. So I started feeling that distance when I used to drink. But it's not the case now. I'm obviously more approachable. He can say anything anytime to me because he knows that I'll not snap at him anytime
So you
for
have
those
become,
little things, especially on the Friday, Saturday nights, basically.
yeah. So three things are that you have become more present, you have started connecting, and now you're more
Yeah.
approachable to him. Yeah. और
Yeah.
ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट होता है, अभिषेक, बिकॉज अर्ली चाइल्डहुड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। 90% of our brain gets developed by the age of 6. Or I think you have taken a call very actively and consciously, and you're contributing him to grow as a holistic person now. So congratulations to you and to your efforts. Abhishek, lot of men also struggle with mental health issues due to alcohol. Do you think that it impacted you too? Like sleepless nights, migraines, feeling pukish? ऐसा कभी feel होता था?
Obviously. So the night I used to drink, a lot of times I woke up at 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of bad thoughts used to come at that point in time, at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That anxiety, it was, you get bad thoughts and they keep on repeating over and over in your mind.
It's like a
And I used to,
chain of
yeah,
thoughts.
it's a cycle of thoughts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got disturbed, and I never blamed it on alcohol. I thought it's within me, it's my problem. See,
Okay.
because when you're drinking, you don't blame it on alcohol. आप ये सोचते हो कि ये आपकी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं और आप उसको हैंडल नहीं कर पा रहे हो, स्टार्ट ब्लेमिंग इट
On stress,
योरसेल्फ.
on work, on office.
Yeah, yeah. And if I talk about it now, I don't wake up at 3 a.m. Never. Like pehle I had sleepless nights when I quit, because obviously because of the withdrawal symptoms that you have. But
Yes.
now I never wake up at 3 a.m.
Hmm.
There's no anxiety. You know, my heart used to race at 3 a.m. in the morning. And the people say, heart ke liye wine achhi hai. It's all bullshit. No, it's not. हार्ट आपका जब 3 बजे आप उठते हो ना, इट स्टार्ट्स रेसिंग, और ये बहुत बहुत लोगों के साथ ये प्रॉब्लम है.
Hmm.
So that's why. So alcohol postpones anxiety for
Okay.
some time, but it multiplies it later.
Oh, okay.
And that's something we should be wary, or we should know this thing. Everyone who drinks should know this thing.
Okay.
Anxiety and depression बढ़ता है. Alcohol is a depressant. It's been declared.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. So Abhishek,
Hmm.
tell me, when it comes to mental health, generally men are very quiet around it. Since you are sober now and you have been, creating awareness through your page, tell me how many men approach you, and tell me some statistics around your page. Like since you have been creating content for awareness, कितने लोग आपको कांटेक्ट करते हैं और क्या प्रॉब्लम्स टॉप 3 डिस्कस करते हैं आपके साथ?
So I created my Instagram page around 2 months back, and I wanted to share my stories.
Yeah.
That was the intention. But
Okay.
people started reaching out within the first week when my first reel went viral. It was about alcohol tolerance. That
Okay.
did about more than 2 million.
Really?
So yeah, yeah. So the three things that you asked. So people, the first thing that people say is that, so is moderate drinking good? Can you drink in moderation? Number two, I'm struggling a lot. I want to quit.
Okay.
And number three are the wives that reach out to me and say, yeah, please मेरी husband की छुड़वा दो. And that's what hurts me the most. Yeah.
Amazing. तो कैसे हेल्प करते हैं अभिषेक? हाउ आर यू हेल्पिंग पीपल बाय sharing your stories, and how do you have any strategy?
Yeah. Yeah. Right now, I have taken a few consultations, but I'm literally overwhelmed right now. I don't take many due to the time constraint, but I provide them a free guide. So created my notes on my quitting journey. I noted them down. I read a lot of books. I heard a lot of podcasts. So I've created my free guide where some pointers. Uh, it talks about reflecting and acting.
Okay.
Exact thing that I did.
तो ये कहाँ
And
अवेलेबल
you
है?
won't believe,
हम्म.
it's on my bio, Instagram bio. You just fill a Google form, and once you fill that up, that guide will be emailed to you.
Amazing. Amazing.
You go to my bio, click on the link, fill the form, and then the guide will be emailed to you.
Amazing. I think I have never heard about providing such beautiful service, Abhishek, on alcoholism. I have seen lot of people on Instagram. It's crowded already. But very less times people are in India specifically, I'm talking. Nobody is talking about quitting the alcohol. Everybody is talking about fun associated with the alcohol. So you're doing a wonderful, great job, first of all, Abhishek. Yeah. Thank you for on
So
behalf
much.
of everybody who's suffering because of alcohol. Yeah, I'm taking the charge of congratulating you and thanking you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm just doing the best I can. And this is the thought, that because of which I have started sharing my stories. I know it should be put out there. No one is literally talking about it.
Yeah. So, Abhishek, as per statistics, 2 million deaths happen every year due to alcohol. Have that thought ever crossed your mind, like negative, dark thoughts in your mind, of, suicidal thoughts or committing something nasty?
Suicidal, yes. Uh, it was like a fleeting thought, not like, I wanted to do that. But obviously, when the anxiety increases and you kind of, start entering into the depression phase, I kind of knew it that this is wrong. So
Mhm.
thoughts obviously triggered, but जब आप पी रहे होते हो ना, आप ये नहीं देखते कि यार इसे कैंसर होगा, आप ये नहीं देखते कि यार अल्कोहल खराब चीज है. यू आर एडिक्टेड. यू नेवर थिंक अबाउट दी स्टेटिस्टिक्स एट द टाइम यू आर ड्रिंकिंग. ये
Yeah.
सब रियलाइज बाद में ही हुआ कि देयर आर 62,000 cancers per year, due to alcohol, and 750,000 in US. So these things I got to know later on, not at the time when I was drinking. But yes, suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, it was there.
Okay. Um, One more question from you, Abhishek. You have been very nice and humble for, taking out time and doing this for everybody who's listening. So, Abhishek, tell me how alcohol played a role, if it did, drifting apart, you and your wife. Did it happen with you?
Yes, a couple of times. So when I started drinking in my initial years with my wife, like she never used to drink, you know. But when my wife and I used to watch a movie, I always had a drink in my hand.
Okay.
Pehle it was not in initial years it was not a problem at all.
Okay.
But later, a few years down the line, she always used to say, कि यार कुछ missing सा लगता है तुम में. You don't listen to me. It feels as if I'm talking to a wall.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Yeah, this was the first thing. And the second thing was that I stopped sharing my problems with her.
Mm-hmm.
क्योंकि मैं अल्कोहल लेकर ही अपनी फीलिंग्स नम कर लेता था. आई थॉट अल्कोहल वाज द सॉल्यूशन. क्यों इससे बात करूं मैं? सो व्हेनेवर शी यूज्ड टू से कि यार क्या हुआ, सब ठीक है ना, अपनी प्रॉब्लम शेयर करो, आई ऑलवेज से हाँ हाँ सब ठीक है. सी, एंड कपल्स आर सपोज्ड टू टॉक टू ईच अदर. They are supposed to discuss their problems with each other, and I never did.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing was that alcohol became the third person in our lives, because at every dinner, at every celebration, at any event, I used to take alcohol. She stopped questioning, and her silence became an approval. And it happens to a lot of women out there. Okay, men start taking their wives for granted, or and this is how the addiction starts. Yeah, not only this, it also impacted my work life. You start slacking, your performance dips, especially वो Monday mornings, when you're in hangover. आप वो परफॉर्मेंस दे ही नहीं पाते हो, काम ही निकल के नहीं आ पाता है.
सो मंडे मॉर्निंग की जो हम बात करते हैं तो लोग कॉफी शॉट्स लेते हैं या लेमन शॉट्स लेते हैं टू गेट ओवर द हैंगओवर, बट डज इट रियली वर्क?
For a brief period of time, but you're actually dehydrated. Yeah, one shot of lemon, water and things, they can't repair your body. Your electrolytes get depleted from your body.
Yeah.
You can't fill them or recover them with just one or two drinks, lemon water, coffee shots. It helps for a brief period, but for the rest of the day you feel tired, sluggish.
Okay, great. So last question from you, Abhishek. Tell me, a lot of men out there are struggling, and that's quite validated with your viral reel and lot of people approaching you. Tell me three helping points that you suggest for all the men जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं और फेल हो रहे हैं, कोशिश कर रहे हैं और फेल हो रहे हैं, कैसे अल्कोहल छोड़ सकते हैं?
First of all is getting control over your emotions. So the people who are struggling, वो यही बोलते हैं, यार बोर हो रहा था पी ली, I was feeling lonely, पी ली. And these are the major, आप अपने इमोशंस को कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाते हो ना, वही एक रीजन बनता है आपके रिलैप्स का. So what I did was that I started getting conscious of my emotions first. जब मैंने अपनी जर्नी स्टार्ट की, लोनलीनेस फील कर रहा हूँ, आई स्टार्टेड कॉलिंग अ वेरी डियर फ्रेंड ऑफ माइंड. ठीक है, क्योंकि my friend was always there. He was like a support system. Obviously my wife was there, but friend से आप ज्यादा open हो पाते हो. तो I always started share my feelings. यार loneliness feel हो रहा है, craving हो रही है, so let's talk about it. So he was a support system. बोर हो रहा था, I picked up a hobby. I was very good at my photography. ठीक है, कैमरा उठाया, पिक्चर्स क्लिक करने निकल गया. ठीक है, या फिर कुछ स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी देख ली. आई फोकस्ड ऑन माय हॉबीज. लाइक बोर्डम क्यों होने देनी है यार. ठीक है. और क्रेविंग्स जब होती थी, आई यूज्ड टू सिट फॉर 3 minutes स्ट्रेट, सिट विद दोस फीलिंग्स. क्या क्रेविंग्स हो रही हैं, बट इट डजंट वर्क मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स. सो आई केम अप विद सम हैक्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, आई यूज्ड टू डंक माय फेस in the bowl, full of cold water.
Bucket, yeah.
It actually helped. कुछ कहेंगे यार क्या बकवास कर रहे हैं, but it helped for me. I used to bite on garlic, raw garlic, because of that pungent taste, my cravings disappeared. But ये cravings वाले जो hacks है ना, ये तभी काम करते हैं जब आपका emotions पे control है. When you are aware कि यार कौन सी emotion आपको ये सब cravings दे रही है, ये तभी काम करते हैं. सिर्फ टिप्स देने से ये नहीं होता है. So dealing with your emotions is very important. Frustration हो रही है, go to gym या वर्कआउट करो, उस पे निकालो, अल्कोहल पे नहीं. तो ये सारी चीजें मेरे लिए बहुत काम की. एंड ऑफ कोर्स मेडिटेशन. एंड मेडिटेशन इज समथिंग दैट वाज लाइफ चेंजिंग. थैंकफुली आई वाज डूइंग इट पहले से ही, not just when I started quitting, but it kind of the reason I was able to disconnect quickly with alcohol was doing meditation.
But Abhishek rightly said कि जब तक आप खुद कॉन्शियस नहीं हैं तब तक आप कुछ अचीव नहीं कर सकते. और टॉकिंग अबाउट मेडिटेशन, इट हेल्प्स अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, बट मेडिटेट जो नहीं करते हैं, जब वो पहली बार मेडिटेशन सिटिंग लेते हैं, दे गेट द साइकिल ऑफ थॉट्स और आंखें बंद नहीं कर पाते हैं क्योंकि नेगेटिव एनर्जी हैज टेकन ओवर. सो जो आपने हैक्स बताए, आई फाइंड देम वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज that's creating an energy to shift my thought process, my mindset. I think everybody who's watching this, maybe Abhishek has shared chewing a garlic piece. Maybe you figure out something for yourself जो आप trigger करता है, and you will definitely figure out कि कैसे आप इसे come over कर सकते हैं, because at the end being sober is your health journey, and then it is your family and children. Yeah.
True.
So any one message for all the people, especially men who are watching this, कि क्या करना चाहिए अगर मुझे फिट इन होना है, अगर मुझे फन करना है, अगर मुझे लॉन्ग ड्राइव करनी है, बट बिना अल्कोहल के तो मैं स्टूपिड लगूंगा, बिना अल्कोहल के तो मैं आई विल साउंड चाइल्डिश. तो उनके लिए क्या एडवाइस है आपकी?
I think first and foremost thing is awareness. Start making yourself aware. These statistics, people say इतने statistics बताने से क्या लोग पीना छोड़ देंगे? No, they sometimes impact you. This is how there are these many people who are getting impacted from alcohol. Start listening to the stories who get impacted by the lives. Or start listening to the stories who get impacted, by the alcohol. This helped me. Podcast सुनो. One podcast that I would recommend is there's a guy called Andrew Huberman. उसका 2 घंटे का एक पॉडकास्ट है अल्कोहल के ऊपर. That brought a major shift, in the way I used to major shift in the way I used to think what alcohol is. मेरा पूरा पर्सपेक्टिव चेंज कर दिया उस पॉडकास्ट ने. वो सबको देखना चाहिए. एंड्रू हुबरमैन. तो मैं सबको रेकमेंड भी करता हूँ, whoever reaches me out, कि यार क्या करूँ. मैंने कहा पहले तो वो देखो. It's in English, but he has brought in all the statistics that he could, all the researches. He has proved those researches where they say, wine is good for your health. They are wrong. This is not true. It was all a marketing gimmick just to promote drinking wine. Wine helps, it has health benefits, but to a very little extent.
Okay.
So, when you start creating, when you start getting aware of what's happening around you, and if there is a self realization, I think that's what works always.
एक पार्टी में बैठे हो, पार्टी में जा नहीं रहे हो, तो वो जो लोग आपको टॉन्ट कर रहे हैं, जो आपको बी लिटिल कर रहे हैं, उसको कैसे आपने हैंडल किया?
See, social pressure, I kind of redesigned my whole system. I redesigned my social environment. First of all, I stopped going to those places because I knew that if I went there, I'll obviously take a drink. Because, that's why you relapse. I relapsed, and then I knew that, so ये सब redesign किया मैंने. But कुछ लोग होते हैं जो आपको पोक करते हैं कि यार ले ले यार, क्यों नहीं ले रहा है, तू तो इतने पीता था, अब क्या हो गया तेरे को, क्यों नहीं ले रहा है. So it all used to happen, but the real friends, they always respected you. They said, okay, मन नहीं है, रहने दे. वहीं से पता लग जाता है यार, who is a real friend and who is a fake friend. And most of your drinking buddies always want you to drink because उन्हें company चाहिए ना. You see that, but your real friend will always respect you. So this is what I noticed personally. ठीक है, तो social pressure is there, but once you, and there are obviously hacks of saying it, there's a couple of lines I've also said in my reel that I said, यार सबसे अच्छा तो यार आज मन नहीं कर रहा है यार, आज आज रहने देता हूँ, या मेरा पेट खराब है, कल लेंगे, या कल जिम में जाना, नेक्स्ट डे में मेरी ऐसी की तैसी हो जाती है, मैं नहीं लूंगा. सो आई ट्राइड अ कपल ऑफ दीज लाइंस, कुछ कभी काम करती थी, कभी नहीं करती थी.
It's lovely talking to you. I think you are talking on some issue which is a taboo with lot of men specifically, क्योंकि अगर हम अल्कोहल छोड़ने की बात करते हैं तो हमें वीक कंसिडर किया जाता है, हमें वी आर कंपेयर टू फीमेल्स के, लड़की है क्या कि तो शराब नहीं पी सकता, एक पैक से क्या हो जाता है. आई थिंक you have spoken very candidly, and you have spoken very openly, transparently on this very sensitive topic, and I wish you all the best for all the work that you're doing amazing job by contributing and bringing up the awareness, because I'm sure this will help a lot of families to get connected again, lot of children to have their present, to have their fathers present in their lives. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you so much, and that's the thought behind it. And I would also like to say that you're doing an amazing job, reaching out to people, discussing about mental health, about being a mom. It's great. I just go through your stuff, and I always get inspired by that.
Hello parents, if you find our podcast relatable, educational, then do subscribe to our channel. In the comment box, write your parenting challenges. We'll try to address them one by one, and never forget to share it with amazing parents like you. Because remember, by learning together, we can raise kind, confident, and connected children for happy families and happy nations.